Of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. In today's episode, we are continuing the Alex Murdaugh case, who is currently on trial for shooting dead his wife and son, along with some other bunch of things that this guy has been into, including the murder of a housekeeper that he is alleged to have done and then covered up and kept the money for himself instead of that inheritance or the life insurance payout going to the kids. This guy is said to have done some heinous things. And in this episode, we want to talk about the release of his car data. It is said to prove that he lied again. And so this looks like it shoots his alibi down, literally, because he said he was at his mom's for about 40 minutes. But car data proves otherwise, that he was only there for a shorter period of time. Not only that, he was pressuring the mom's caregiver to say that his visit lasted 40 minutes. Let's go ahead and dive into what we know at this time. Alex Murdaugh's car data has been released, and it looks to prove that he actually spent just 20 minutes at his mother's house on the night of the double murders, despite that he was saying he was there for 40 minutes. That's a big difference. 20 minutes to 40 minutes? Come on, 40 minutes is closer to an hour, so you might as well just say you were there closer to an hour. Now, prosecutors say that he shot Maggie Murdaugh, his wife, and Paul Murdaugh, his son, at the family's hunting estate at Moselle, South Carolina at 8:50 p.m. on June 7th, 2021. He then fired up his Chevrolet Suburban at 9:06 p.m. and drove to his mother's home in Almeda, which is only about 15 minutes away. And this was a way, at least the state suggests, that he was trying to manufacture an alibi during this incident. And so the South Carolina disgraced attorney, he told detectives that he was at his mother's house for around 40 minutes, and he even instructed her caregiver, Shelley Smith, to say the same thing, although she wept as she told jurors last week that he actually was there half the time. So she didn't lie as he was hoping she would. And so data that has come from his 2021 Chevrolet Suburban that FBI have been trying to get for a year to decrypt it, they finally appeared to shatter his alibi. And so they say that the car went into park at 9:22 p.m., apparently arriving at his mother's. Then 21 minutes later at 9:43 p.m., the car is taken out of park again, which generally you take out of park to put it in reverse or to put it into drive, right? And so when he did that at 9:43, that when it was taken out of park, it looks like he was actually headed back home. And so this is where it's like, okay. And you can even see here, this is the inside of his Chevrolet Suburban. Police found that swabs of the steering wheel tested positive for blood. There was also gunshot residue found on the seatbelt. And there is one thing that the prosecutors still don't know. And maybe some of this park, when he was putting it back into park, taking it out of park, but where are the two weapons? Because they said they found two different ammunitions that was found there, two different shells, right? So where are the two guns? That leaves my mind blown. Like, what could he have done with that? And so that we will still be waiting to find out. But the fact that they swabbed the steering wheel and it tested positive for blood, we don't know whose blood it was yet, right? But the fact that there was also gunshot residue, which we do know that one of the victims died by a gunshot, right? Or both of them were found dead by gunshots. And so we're going to find out more about that, I'm pretty sure. And so the vehicle, it goes back in the park at 10 p.m. The log data does not show whether the car was moving, but the 16 minutes that elapsed from when he presumably left Almeda correlates with the normal journey time to Moselle. Now, Murdaugh, he called 911 at 10:07 p.m. and reported that he had returned home to find Maggie and Paul. And you can see the data from Murdaugh's Chevy. 9:03, the system boots up. Could have happened after the door had opened. 9:06, fires up again, get ready to go, right? 9:06:50, which is a second later, it's taken out of park. Now, Murdaugh says that he went to visit his mother in Almeda, which is around 15-minute drive from Moselle. At 9:22, the car is back in park. 21 minutes later, Murdaugh's mother's carer says he was at the house for around this time. At 9:43 p.m., the car was taken out of park. And then less than a minute later, goes back in the park. Data does not show if the car is moving. And then, basically a second later, it's taken out of park again. And the car is out of park for 16 minutes, which looks to be the time that it takes him to get back to Moselle, South Carolina, which is where they live. And so he gets there 16 minutes later, it goes back in the park. 1 minute, 17 seconds later, roughly, it's taken out of park again. But the odd part, 12 seconds later, it's back into park, right? And then 1 second, it's taken out of park. Why is this happening so much? Literally, to me, that is troubling. Because, obviously, if he got home at 10 o'clock and he finds them around that time, why all the out of park type stuff? 10:05, almost at 10:06, it's back into park. Then he calls 911 at a minute and 5 seconds later. After calling 911, almost 5 minutes later, it's taken out of park. He obviously drives somewhere very close by, because then it goes back into park less than a minute later. And then at 10:13, 39 seconds, taken out of park. But there is no log note indicating when the car went back into park. Sometimes the system stops recording according to this data that has been recovered. Let me know in the comments what you think that means. Taken out of park, back in the park, taken out of park, back in the park. Let me know in the comments what you think that means. Because the log data does not prove that the car was moving. And Dwight Fokovsky, something like that, an FBI electronics engineer, that's what he told jurors just yesterday. But why between 10 p.m. and 10:13 the car was taken out of park 5 times? Before the 911 call, after the 911 call. Could those weapons be on the property still? Could they be somewhere on that property? You see, Murdaugh, he was holding a shotgun when cops arrived. But it's not said that shotgun is the one that was used in this. It is possible that he drove back to the main house and then back to the kennels around 400 yards away after retrieving the firearm. And the FBI electronics engineer, he shared that the data from the Suburban's onboard computer was encrypted, not something he had ever encountered before. He told jurors this had been done by the manufacturer. As a result, the FBI had to take another 2021 Chevrolet Suburban and reverse engineer the computer encryption to crack the code, which is one of the reasons that it took like a year to do this. And so the caregiver of his mother, Smith, she testified on Monday of this past week that he visited on the night of the killings at sometime between 9 and 9:30 p.m. He appeared fidgety and was periodically looking at his phone during the visit, which lasted between 15 and 20 minutes. That's what she shared. His mother, Libby, who is in the late stages of Alzheimer's, she was said to be in bed, and Murdaugh lay next to her in the bedroom. And so the caregiver who was on the stand, she wept as she described how he showed up to his parents' house a few days later and pointedly told her that he was with his mother for 30 to 40 minutes on the night of the killings. Smith said this made her nervous because she recalled he had only been there for half that time. She was so concerned by the instruction from Murdaugh that she later told her police officer brother about the conversation that she had with Alex Murdaugh and how it really left her conflicted because she did not want to lie. She didn't understand why he was even asking her to do this. Smith told jurors that Murdaugh arrived at his mother's on the night of the murders. Arrived at his mother's on the night of the murders wearing a white t-shirt. And so that is, which is like, he did have a white t-shirt, like, because when the police got there, he definitely had a white t-shirt on, right? And so she said that when he arrived at his mother's on the night of the murders wearing a t-shirt and shorts, it was later than he had ever visited before. Meaning, like, if this is not trying to cover up an alibi, granted, hey, we do things for the first time out of the ordinary sometimes, right? So, but the fact surrounding this does not look good for him. And so his mother's carer, Smith, says she did not see any blood on him. However, Murdaugh was wearing a dress shirt and long pants earlier in the evening. That's according to that Snapchat video that was sent by Paul at 7:56 p.m. And so the t-shirt and shorts is also what he was seen with when the cops got there. So I'm not too sure that I'm seeing anything too out of the ordinary on that. Now, when cops arrived, he was also wearing a clean t-shirt and shorts. Now, the carer, Smith, she testified that a few days after the slayings, Murdaugh visited his parents' house at 6:30 a.m., which again, she said was unusual for him to be doing that. She said he was carrying a blue something in his hand that looked like a tarp or jacket. A blue raincoat was later found at Murdaugh's parents' home coated with gun residue. During the visit, Murdaugh asked about her upcoming wedding and mentioned that he could help her with the bill. And that's interesting, but you know, they are said to have had a lot of money, at least at one time, but he's also under investigation for a lot of other financial ruins. And so the state in the case says that the coat was covered with gun residue and found stashed in a closet at Libby Murdaugh's home. Now, Megan Fletcher, who is a forensic scientist, she told jurors a couple days ago of this video that she found 38 gunshot residue particles across the interior and exterior of the coat. She said that she found so many, in fact, that she stopped searching the jacket. Which is like, let's stop there for a second and help me understand this. Okay, earlier in Paul's Snapchat video, he's wearing a collared shirt looking like an attorney, right? Dressed up. But he goes to the mother's home with the carer, and he's in a t-shirt and shorts. Okay? That to me doesn't seem out of the ordinary. But Why? When did he have this jacket and these clothes on? That's where I'm getting a little confused, because Megan Fletcher says that she found 38 gunshot residue particles, 38 across the interior and exterior of the coat. Was this coat in the Paul Murdaugh video? And why would this dummy wear this stuff? Like, if he did this, why would there be residue on him anyway? Right? If he didn't do this, why would there be residue unless he could prove that he was hunting or something? And so the fact that she said she found so many gunshot residue particles across this coat, she found so many that she stopped searching the jacket. I mean, that doesn't look good for this guy. At least in my opinion, I don't think. But why all the change of clothing? I mean, this guy is an attorney, a defense attorney. He knows what they are going to look for. Now, someone else of the state, John Metters, he said that he asked if a firearm could have been wrapped inside the coat. She confirmed that was definitely a possibility. But defense attorney Jim Griffin said that even the seat Fletcher was sitting in could have gun residue on it, given that the evidence has been presented from the witness stand. She agreed, yes, that was possible. And Jim Griffin said that the residue on the rain jacket might have come from Alex's father, Randolph Murdaugh III, tossing his jacket onto his shotgun named Bo Whoop in his truck. Fletcher also said, yep, that too is plausible. And Fletcher told jurors that as well as the significant gunshot residue on the coat, she found particles on his t-shirt, shorts, his hand, and the seatbelt of his car from samples taken by cops the night of the killings. That does not look good for him. Griffin asked the forensic expert if the small amount of gunshot residue found on Murdaugh's clothes and hands could have come from the gunshot he claims he grabbed for protection after arriving back at Moselle to find Maggie and Paul dead. Fletcher agreed this was possible, telling jurors that would be consistent with somebody that had a firearm in his hand prior to collection. Now, Griffin also questioned why the blue tarp discovered at Murdaugh's parents' house was not tested for gun residue. And so the defense claimed that the blue something that Murdaugh's mother's caregiver saw him with after the killing was a blue top, not a raincoat. That's what she is sharing in reference to that. That's what they're sharing, right? And so this is what is said. This is the raincoat that the prosecution says Smith saw Murdaugh with 9 days after the killings. The jacket was found to be covered in gun residue, and this was presented this week at Colleton County Courthouse in South Carolina. And Fletcher said that the jacket was seized because it was bundled up in a closet while the tarp was folded in a storage container. Now, Griffin, he grilled her about the logic of that decision, but the forensic scientist said this was not her job. She did not recover the item from the property. She only analyzed it. That's what she shared. And the prosecution is still laying out its case in the double murder trial at Colleton County Court. But will we find out more? I bet you we will. Because he is accused of shooting his wife and son at the dog kennels on the estate in a bid to distract from the millions that he had embezzled from his law firm, which some people have gotten on stand and said, yes, this is what he's done. And so on the day of the murders of June 7th, 2021, he had actually been confronted by the CFO, the chief financial officer at the firm, over $792,000 that he had stolen. Prosecutors say this was just the tip of the iceberg and the walls were closing in. Now, Paul Murdaugh, he was also entangled in another big crime due to a boat wreck that he was the driver and he was way drunk, and then in an accident it killed Mallory Beach. And so this was a problem for the family, and some believe that this might have been another reason why he was also killed, because Alex was tired of everything that was going on. And so again, to take away from his embezzlement from his own law firm. And so the defense says the claim is ludicrous and he was a loving family man. Now, further evidence of his financial crimes, this is said that it will be heard by jurors, even probably today, after Judge Clifton Newman ruled that it is admissible in this trial. Now, those dealings with it will probably be another trial as well. You see, Alex Murdaugh, he's accused of the most heinous. You see, at 7:56 p.m., Paul sent a Snapchat video to friends showing the 22-year-old riding around the estate with his father. At 8:15, his wife Maggie arrived home and the trio ate dinner together. Autopsy showed similar stomach contents of both in Maggie and Paul. About 8:30, Paul's phone starts moving towards the kennel. Then at 8:44 p.m., a second video taken by Paul at the kennels, soon to become a murder scene. It allegedly says it is said to prove that Maggie, Paul, and Alex were all together at that time. Then at 8:49 p.m., the prosecution says Paul's phone locked and went silent forever, never to send another text or make another call. That's at 8:59 p.m. Between 9 and 9:30, Paul and Maggie were killed. That's according to the coroner. At 9:06, Murdaugh's car is fired up. So this is a little troubling, I think, for the prosecutors, because why wouldn't it be proven that they were murdered before his car fires up to go to his mom's? That to me leaves a little like, okay, like if at 9:06 his car is fired up, the alleged killer said he went to visit his mother's, who is in the late stages of Alzheimer's disease in Almeda, around a 15-minute drive. Okay, but at 10:07, which was an hour and a minute after his car fired up to allegedly go see his mother, that's when he calls 911 claiming that he came back home to find his wife and son shot dead. And so if between 9 and 9:30 Paul and Maggie were killed and he leaves at 9:06, why isn't it proven that they're killed between 9 and 9:06? Let me know in the comments what you think about that. That is kind of my thought process on it, because it looks a little odd that I feel like that should be proven. And so I'm sure we will find out more, my friends. And that is Murdaugh's car data being released, and also proven that you might have lied again. As much as this car went in the park, out of park, in the park, out of park, that stuff's not adding up either. Like, maybe you drove up there, you park it, get out, oh my gosh, put it back in, take it out of park, go back down and call 911. But why is your car moving again? Why aren't you just waiting? I have problems with that in its own. My friends, I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Deep True Crime. At the end of the day, this is not about me. This is about the victims. Being a voice for the victims. Paul Murdaugh, he was in some crap himself. Didn't seem to be a good guy at this time. But he didn't deserve to be brutally killed like this. Same thing for Mallory Beach. She didn't deserve to be killed like that. Paul Murdaugh was going to, hopefully, we don't know. This was a powerful, powerful family. There's even been another case being opened and looked at and wondering, like, is the Murdaughs around this too? I'm not even talking about the housekeeper. I'm talking about someone else. So This Murdaugh family, they were into some stuff. And now it's all coming snowballing effect down to the head honcho of the family, Alex Murdaugh. My friends, if this is the type of content you like to follow, hit that subscribe button. Click on that like. I would appreciate it. And at the end of the day, I'm here to help. Have a great day. Rest in peace, Paul Murdaugh. Rest in peace, Maggie Murdaugh. Taken from this world way too soon. Until next time, my friends, be careful out there. Peace.